Hey, you. Yes, you with the moist grass on your bare legs. This is a new year and a new podcast. I'm asking you to join me in some changes made just for you. I want listeners to join the new Facebook group for Aussie Lawn Stars, so you can give me feedback on existing episodes and content ideas for more episodes. But more importantly, it's a place you can ask questions. The simple questions may get answered by members in the group already, much like you would find in any community group. But the questions will fuel and feed future episodes. More importantly, if you ask a question in the group or on the YouTube comments section, you may get sucked into the dungeon where your question and you become a feature episode. In short, join Aussie Lawn Stars on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram to participate and engage with me directly and other listeners who want to help or be helped. Welcome to the dungeon, Stephen. How you going?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, good, mate.
So people listening won't know who Stephen is. They'll know you by your Facebook name, Kelpie.
Yeah, that's my old dog I had, yeah.
Yeah, very good. So another thing that people won't know is you're a Kiwi. They probably can hear it by now.
Oh, sheep. Oh, yeah, I don't mind sheep jokes, but other than that, we're pretty much the same, really.
Yeah. New Zealand's just a part of Australia. It's like Tasmania. It's sort of off the bottom somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah. I think if you go back far enough in time, it might have been part of Australia.
It has actually been considered part of Australia at some point in time, yeah. It's
I don't know about that.
It's got some interesting history there when it comes to who owns what and how it works.
Yeah.
But
I just saw a thing on Facebook yesterday, something about the Australians trying to say that Phar Lap was an Australian horse, which he was born in Timaru, so I don't know how that makes him Australian.
So they flew him over to Australia to compete, right?
I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
I just know he was huge and he was fast.
Yeah, that's true. So you're in Auckland?
Yeah, just south of Auckland, yeah.
South Auckland?
But yeah, well, who knows where I live, which is like a little village. There's probably 150 houses in Hoonah.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know how many thousand people live in the greater area around it, but it's a big lifestyle block area.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of the properties there are 1 acre or 2 acres in size?
Yeah, your typical Hoonah property would probably be 10 acres.
10 acres, okay, yeah.
10 to 20, even 20, a lot of 20-acre blocks.
Yeah, nice.
But they're all just, the lawns aren't that big, but it's just their paddocks and stuff. Yeah.
So they'll have a house yard and then they'll have a couple of paddocks.
Yeah, and half of them have got a half-kilometre driveway too.
Fair enough. So yeah. Do you get asked to mow those sort of properties?
Probably a third of my work is doing those, the yards. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yards and driveways, yeah. Quite a bit of
it. How much work would there be in doing one of those?
Oh, your typical one probably averages about an hour.
Yeah, okay, so it's decent.
To mow it and but we call it weed eater here. You Aussies call them whippersnippers. So yep. I'll try to remember the Australian one because most of your audience are Australian.
Yeah, well, weed eaters are almost American. You're not Americans.
I think I guess that's where they came from. I don't know. A whippersnipper is quite a logical sort of term to me because they do whip grass and snip it. So
yep,
makes sense to me. So I'll try to remember to call it that. But yeah, most of it's just doing a half decent tidy mow, better than the people could do themselves, and then a bit of a whippersnipper around. Whippersnipper sounds strange, but around the house and parts and stuff, and
yeah.
The trick of it is to do a better job than they can do themselves, but get in and out as well. You don't want to be mucking around.
Yes, time is your friend or your enemy, depending on how you work. Yeah, so about a third of your work is doing small acreage blocks.
Yeah, probably
And the
another
rest,
another third would be doing. There's a couple of beachside settlements that are about half an hour from here, Beachlands and Maraetai, and
okay.
I do a lot of little beach houses around there. I've got quite a good little client base over there, and the people there are really good. They're really lovely people.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
I'm just,
probably a third of it's over there, and then there's the old remnants. I used to live in the suburbs, so I've still got the remnants of that. So that's about a third of my work in there as well.
so when you say in the suburbs, you're talking actually in Auckland then?
Yeah, in South Auckland itself. But the traffic in there is getting so diabolical that I'm slowly phasing it out. There's a sprinkling of commercial work thrown through all that too, so
Yeah,
it sort of works out because basically what I'll do is I'll mow a lifestyle block around Hunua while the traffic's bad, and then I'll hop on the motorway and pop into the suburbs, mow there till probably 5 o'clock or so,
yeah,
and then
okay.
go and do commercial places once they're empty, and then hop back on the motorway at 6 o'clock and home. Which
Yep.
I suppose it's a long day, but it sort of works. It beats sitting in traffic.
So
Yeah.
when you say the village you come from, Hunua, is that Hunua?
Yep. Who knew?
Okay,
Yep.
yep. Yeah, I'm just looking at a map and I've found where it is. It's sort of in the middle of nowhere in the farmland.
Oh, it's 15 k's from the suburb. It's not that far away, but the
Fif-
Hunua Ranges. There's a big bush area right beside us. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Just zooming in and out, seeing what it looks like. So the the Hunua Ranges, are they closer to the suburbs or on the other side?
On the other side of my place.
On the other
Yeah.
side. Okay. Yep. Cool. Getting a
You'll
bit of
see
a feel for
Hunua Village. There's all of about 3 streets in
it. Yep,
it.
I can see that. Like, there's two streets that go through town and a couple of intersecting streets going through it.
Yeah. I'm on one of those. Yeah. Got 1 acre.
Yeah. Okay.
Bought
Nice.
it about 20 years ago when they were worth just about nothing. No one wanted to live out here.
Yeah, and
And
now
then
they're
it was 1.5 acres. I subdivided off half an acre,
yeah
and that paid for a house on the main bit.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you head a fair way south and out to the east coast to Tauranga, that's where my dad comes from.
Oh, that's miles away from here. It's a
Yeah.
couple of hours from here. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say
Taranga's a good place.
yeah, it's a
It's
nice spot.
busy
I've
now
been there
though.
once.
The traffic there is supposed to be as bad as Auckland.
Oh wow. So it's not a desirable place then if the traffic's too busy.
It's a bit stuffed. About probably 10, 15 years ago, when Aucklanders could see what the Auckland going to the pack with traffic, they all shifted to Tauranga and Napier further south. So those places are well known for their congestion now.
You can't
You
can't
can't get
escape it.
away from Aucklanders, eh?
So you have to head further south down to Hamilton or somewhere. Not in Hamilton, down to,
Oh,
Hamilton's probably
oh,
just as bad.
South Island if you want to get away from traffic. Yeah,
Really? Okay. So if you go to South Island, you can get away from it.
yeah, pretty much. It's a whole nother world down there.
There you go. The place I'm thinking of is Palmerston. So if you go
That's
down
a good town.
Palmerston,
That would be a really, really good place to mow lawns. We've got
so you
friends that
get
live there.
yeah, okay. So you get out of the traffic down there.
Yeah, no, that's a cool town. That's a really good town.
Too far away from Auckland for people to travel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
That's the way.
But you can still fly there in an hour and a half, I think, in a little propeller plane. They still run that service.
Yeah, I noticed it's got an airport in Palmy, so
Yeah, there's a big
nice.
university there, big agricultural university.
Yeah,
So
well, I
they
know
they
I know a little bit about it because my dad went there when he was a teenager. So he went from home, Tauranga, down to Palmerston to study for a little while, and then he flew to Australia.
Yeah, Palmy's a good town. Be a great place to mow lawns because it's so flat there.
Yeah, so he went to Longburn.
Oh, that's the freezing works there, I think. I think.
There you go. So
I'm
that's
originally from Taranaki, which is a little province. New Plymouth is the city in it. That's down the
yeah.
west coast. Yeah.
I interviewed a guy that's down near New Plymouth. This going back a year and a half at least now, but he was doing tree work down around New Plymouth.
Yeah, be plenty of work doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's doing all right doing the tree work.
No, Taranaki's a fantastic place. The weather's terrible, but on a good day, there's nowhere like it on earth, I wouldn't think, for weather. It's just stunningly beautiful on a good day.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So we need to try and bring this around to the main topics that I cover in my podcast today. I know you've sort of prepped me and said you don't have a lot to say when it comes to motorbikes. But we can touch on the more important topics. So in New Zealand, lawn mowing has a couple of things that stand out. One of them would have to be the lack of vertical edges.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't even know that people did it a different way until I listened to your podcast.
So you don't do a lot of vertical edging. You do a lot of flat edges or bevel edges.
I've got the gear to do it, but I wouldn't have vertical edged a lawn for probably 2 or 3 years now.
Wow. Yeah.
I had a couple of them that I was doing it a bit, but I didn't think they came up any better.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I stopped doing it,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just in a real high-end suburb, and it's a corner property, and I just needed it to like jump, stand out a bit.
Yeah.
So I vertical edged it for a while, but yeah, I didn't think it was any better.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
No one seemed to notice.
You got to do what works in your area, and if that's what people are doing, then yeah, that's it. So
Yeah.
the other thing that stands out for you in New Zealand, you've been in business for, what did you say it was, 25 years?
Just about 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And an interesting thing about that, most people who would have started a business in New Zealand 25 years ago probably would have started independently.
No.
No? Okay.
No. About 1993, I think it was when I think that's about the time that the government here allowed franchising.
Yeah, okay.
And these two guys, I don't need to tell you their names, but I think they were VIP franchisees in Melbourne or Sydney or somewhere. They were Kiwi guys. They were
Yeah.
mates, and they came back here to start up over here, but they couldn't agree. This is what my understanding. They'd be able to tell you the exact story. My understanding is they couldn't agree on how to do it, so they said, "We'll stuff it. We'll both do our own thing."
Fair
One
enough.
of them was David Seville. So the Seville family in Auckland are very famous for Seville's Hair Academy.
Okay.
So he because of the connection to hair cutting, he went and started crew cut lawn mowing. And
Interesting.
that went absolutely gangbusters. And at the same time, this mate Adrian Kenny started Greenacres, who I'm with, and they
Yeah,
both
okay.
just went absolutely gangbusters. Like the growth, those guys, yeah, they did really well.
So is Crew Cut set up to be a franchise as well?
Yeah, that's yep. Oh yeah, that's totally franchise. Yep.
Yeah. So they're two well-known franchise models in New Zealand.
But they're the two Kiwi ones. There's VIP and gyms are over here as well, but
Yeah.
I looked at VIP and Crew Cut, preferred crew cut just because it's Kiwi made. I wanted to, I'm just like that. I like supporting the local guy.
Yep.
And a mate of my brother's had a Green Acres business, and he was wanting to shift overseas. So I ended up having a look at this and bought it.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't start from scratch then. You bought a existing
No. There were,
franchise.
I think, about 70 customers when I got it. Yeah.
70. Yeah. Now, if you've got
So it
70 good
was a
customers,
nice, yeah, it was a nice little business actually.
yeah, I was going to say, if
Yeah.
you've got 70 customers, you're fairly well set up. You don't really need more than that.
Oh, I wanted heaps more than that. That's
Yeah.
just me. Yeah. Well, I'd been farming before that, and I'm used to working like a dog,
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so this 70 customers, I was starting at start tomorrow at 7:30, and I was sort of just about finished by 3. I was like, what's going on here?
Then that's a big day for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, no, that's sort of it's not for a farmer, eh? It's like I'm not used to that.
So you're looking more at doing 7:30 till 7:30.
Oh, not till 7:30, but back then I like to be home by 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
and I'd got into it to make money, like to
yep.
make a go of it.
Yeah. So do
Yeah.
you change your hours according to the sunset time? So if you run out of light, you'd call it quits earlier, I guess. But in winter, it's not going to be needing as much work done either.
I find winter's actually quite busy.
Efficiency is the thing that rules a business and the decisions you make as a small business owner. Right Mowers give you the options in their product lineup to match efficiency with size, fuel usage, and the type of jobs you want to target, from catching to mulching or side discharge, from roadside verges to acreages, and manicured lawns to 6 feet tall and super long. I've been using the Right Stander I 42-inch with a Catch Pro for manicured areas and the Stander ZK61 to maximise productivity for large open acreage mowing. If you need to replace your push mower, try the 32-inch Stander B. If you have more open access to residential properties, there's a 42 through to 48-inch option that suits you. And if you want to enter the acreage market, the 52, 61 and 72-inch machines have choices in engine size and model type to suit the work you want it to do. Right Standards go the distance, saving you time and money season after season. Yeah.
Which people find weird. I find this time of the year I've really got to temper my workload a bit because it's just too hot. I can't go telling people I'll do something and then it gets stinking hot and I just can't get to it.
Yep.
But in winter, it's just like book yourself up and go for it, nice cool weather.
Yeah. So when you say you're really busy in winter, are you taking on other jobs outside of your regular maintenance?
When if somebody, for instance, if somebody now approaches me at this time of the year, February, asks me about some doing something around the yard, I'll go to them, yeah, I'll do it, but you're going to have to wait until after May. It's too hot at the moment. And
Yeah.
most of the time they're like, yeah, no worries, as long as we know you've got it on your schedule.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that
Yep.
way,
And so,
in winter, I know that job's there when,
yep. Now
I'm booking myself,
around your area, you would be similar latitude and similar climate to probably somewhere between Canberra and Sydney.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't looked at that.
Yeah. So in terms of the heat, I think when we were talking the other day, you were talking low to mid 20s, and I was talking 30 degrees by comparison here. So
It's different heat here, eh?
yeah,
It's just different. The way I think of it is Australia, it's like being in an oven. The heat's all around you.
yep.
But New Zealand, you're sort of like sitting under a grill because the air's quite cool, but the sun's just killing you, you know?
Okay, yeah. So the air's
And if
cool,
you
but you're getting a high UV index.
Oh, if you don't take a hat to go and check the mailbox, you're in trouble around here, eh?
Yeah,
You got about 10 minutes before you're going to be red.
that's
It's a
nasty.
shocker. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is nasty. The sun here is nasty, and if you get into the suburbs on the asphalt, boy, the end of the day, it's got to be well up into the mid to high 30s in some of those streets,
yeah,
just
yeah.
with the asphalt.
That sounds beautiful.
Mate, to an Australian maybe, but not to me. I like it between about 14 and 21, I've worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I've found in winter here, if I'm getting up early in winter, which I do at the moment, I get up fairly early and get started early. It's pretty cold when I get started, but by about 10 or 11 in the morning, it's a really nice temperature.
yeah, yeah,
Unless we get a southerly wind come through, because the southerly winds typically bring the colder and the wetter weather. So if you're in the middle of winter and you got southerly winds hitting you, it's not much fun.
here it's in the winter, the mornings are usually everything's super soggy. Like
Yeah, okay.
everything, you can barely even mow lawns on it. Everything's that just soggy, muddy, yuck.
Yeah.
So normally, what I'll do, I'll get out of bed about probably 7.
Yep.
I'll do a bit of maintenance or admin till probably 8:30, 9 o'clock sort of thing, and then go to
Yeah.
work, and then I'll work till dark.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That works.
probably between about 2 and 4, I stop for a break and have something to eat, and then I'll just keep mowing right through till dark. Yeah,
Yeah. See, what I'm doing in winter, and I've done it the same way you've done it before. When I was doing residential work, smaller jobs, that would be definitely the case. It'd start late in winter and finish late. But what I do now, I'll go and knock over a bunch of gardening work, and doesn't matter if everything's soggy when I'm doing weeding and pruning and
yep,
hedge
yep, yep.
trimming, all those jobs. Yeah.
That's the one, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a problem from that point of view. And in winter, I will be doing probably 50-50 between gardening and mowing.
Oh man, you do a lot of gardening.
Yeah. Still have to do a
Uh,
fair bit in summer, but in winter I focus on gardening more and less lawn mowing, whereas in summer it's more lawn mowing and less gardening.
winter time here, basically everything's on fortnightly schedule all year round. I just keep it on it.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
like if you get a dry summer or in the middle of winter when things get, you do get lawns where you pull up it and you go, well, I can't really justify charging them for that, so you drive off again,
Yeah, of course.
and just flick them a text and say, I'll see you next time around. But everyone stays on the same schedule to a large degree. In winter, there's always ones that are too wet to mow, and the schedule can end up the whop a bit by the end of winter. But most of the stuff's still fortnightly. By the time I
Yeah.
take in, like, you get weeks that are just so wet that you're only going to get out for 2 days.
Yeah.
That and you take a week off here and there in the winter. By the time you do all that, a lot of your lawns are gone 3, maybe 4 weeks anyway.
Yes.
So if I was to put people onto a 3 or 4 week schedule, then that would be like 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, just because you can't get to them. But
Yeah,
I guess the
you
other
just
thing
got
you're
to be a
saying
bit
there,
flexible.
you're filling up a lot of your winter days with other jobs outside of your regular maintenance. So you're keeping yourself pretty busy even when you can't do the mowing.
Yeah, seem to keep busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't do a lot of hedge trimming anymore. I used to like back in the day. I used to probably do just about 50% hedge trimming when I was young and stupid.
Yep. That's
Never
hard on
charged
your
any
shoulders.
and back. Yeah, never
Yep.
charged anything like what I should have been charging.
Yeah.
And it just wore me out, wore my gear out, and I thought, oh, stuff that. No.
Yeah.
And you're always trying to
Yeah.
talk people into actually getting the things done. Whereas
Yep.
you compare that to just a nice, easy fortnightly lawn where you don't have to think about it. It's just turn up, mow it, sweet, next one, please. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always felt right the way through. I always felt that just those fortnightly lawn mows are the way ahead, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
and
totally.
I think the winning game in our business is to get people locked into a schedule. If you can keep them on a schedule, and like you say, if you're doing it all year round, then even better. But if you've got them on a schedule, then you've got a consistent income. Whereas if you don't get people locked in with a schedule like that, then you end up picking up customers that are not good customers and
Yeah.
not good payers either.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble getting paid at all, though.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
25 years, my bad debts is $270. And 200 of that was from one woman. And the other 70 was from one other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
good.
just back when I was silly and learning, and I got led up the garden path of it. I had the $200 one. It was the person I had on a fortnightly AP,
Yeah.
and I'd been mowing it for years, and then I suddenly twigged that she had changed it to 3 weekly, the payment, and I was still doing it fortnightly.
Oof.
And then I
And
tried to catch up with her, and she had left and bailed, and yeah. I was
so,
doing some work for her mum, and I ran it past her mum, and her mum said, "Look, you're wasting your time, mate. You just I don't want to go there, but you're never going to get it." And I'm like, okay, no worries. You live and
yeah.
you learn, eh?
Yes, sometimes with people like that, you've just got to walk away and go, yeah, it's no point chasing it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 25 years, you would have seen a fair change in how people do things with lawn mowing, but also in terms of how much money you can make out of it, I guess.
Yes and no. Um, how would I put it? I think COVID was a bit of an eye opener. It was
Yeah.
during lockdown I ended up on Facebook and ended up yakking to this other Greenacres guy in Hamilton. And I was busy. I was working sort of sometimes 5.5 days a week, and I knew my income was down. It was probably down by about $1,000 a week over what it should be.
Yeah.
And I knew it was, but I didn't know. I couldn't pinpoint why.
Yep.
And there's another Greenacres guy. He was really good. He basically mentored me for about 2 years, at least a couple of years. And it was just all those little 1% changes you got to make.
Yeah.
And bit by bit, the income came back to where it should be, and I was working half a day a week less.
Yeah.
So
Makes a big
yeah,
difference, doesn't it?
that was so good bumping into home, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I noticed that. Um, the expectations. I don't know. I can't really speak for private lawn mowing guys, but I know from a franchisee's perspective, the expectations of franchisees now are completely different to what they used to be.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Auckland was just saturated with franchisees, especially Greenacres ones. They like one day I remember Central Ave in Papatoe, there were 5 different Greenacres vans in the one street, all mowing lawns at once.
That's
It was out of
yeah.
control.
Yep.
But who's everyone ringing to get their lawn mowed? Because we were just everywhere. But
Yeah.
most of the guys back then in Greenacres only wanted to earn a living. They didn't. They didn't. Your typical franchisee back then was probably 55 years old,
Yep.
ex-corporate, got a heart condition or is overweight. He needs to get healthy and make a living and enjoy himself, and that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of the 20-something-year-olds that are coming in because they want to buy their own home or something. You need to make money. But
Yeah. That
these
would make a big
these
difference, wouldn't it?
days, these days, well, there's far fewer franchisees in South Auckland, way fewer. There's only about 5 that I can think of now. But
Yeah. Okay.
most of us have got a lot higher expectations for our income.
Yeah. I
Like,
was going to say, when
yeah,
you started, you would have been 25, 30, right?
about 20, oh, Christ, about 27, 28, I think.
There you go. Spot
Yeah,
on. So you would have been one of those young guys. You would have been out of character compared to everyone else, because you would have been going, "Yep, I'm young. I'm getting into it. I want to get a house."
There was about 3 of us out of about 15, 20 franchisees. There was about 3 of us that were really on a mission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I after give it about a year to settle into the job, I could see the way house prices in Auckland were going to go. So it's like it's now or never. If I'm going to get a deposit, I have to do it now. I can't think about it for a few years, because house prices were doubling every 8 to 10 years in Auckland back then.
Yep.
So I had to pull finger and get on with it, which was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Made a couple of really good friends from the other franchisees. It was a really good scene. Hard work, but we were all on the same wavelength.
Yeah, but you would have been competing with people doing $25 an hour or $25 jobs, $20 jobs.
Yes, still do. Still do. They're always going to be around. I haven't got a problem with them at all, actually, because I once upon a time I was the guy starting out wanting to make a go of it too. Those guys, if they ask me for advice or anything, I'd just give them advice. I want to see them succeed.
Yeah, and I saw one come up last week where they were charging $30 an hour. So it still happens occasionally. But I would say now in Australia, at least, the predominant goal is to be aiming for $100+ an hour.
Yeah, it's about the same over here, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So you'll always have some cowboys, but
the commercial stuff is a real funny area, because there's some old boys doing it that are still charging $60 an hour, and then there's a bunch of us going around like probably more like 150, 200 an hour for the commercial stuff. That's what I'm aiming for. I don't always get that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I started 15 years ago, and I was working off $50 an hour when I started 15 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2010.
You wouldn't have made much money out of that.
It didn't take me too long to realise that it wasn't a good income,
Yeah.
But I think 15 years ago, $50 an hour was reasonably acceptable in the industry. I was charging more than a lot of the cowboys around me.
That's about where we were at over here as well, yeah. But when I see those people advertising like $30 or $40 an hour, that just says to me that they don't have business skills. They need to learn.
Yes.
And unless someone points it out to them that you've got costs before you can actually pay yourself.
Yeah.
You can make $10,000 a week, but if your costs are $9,999.
Yep. And you're not going far.
Congratulations, you've just made $1 for the week.
Yeah, and without the education around what it costs to be in business, you look at $50 an hour and you go, well, that's more than I can earn working for Domino's or Coles or Woolies or anything like that. So it makes it look really appealing until you do the maths and you go, if I charge $50 an hour for a lawn, I'm actually working for about $15 an hour by the time I take all of my costs out.
And then you blow your mower up, and then you realise why it's blown up is because it's rubbish, and you actually need a better one.
Yeah.
Which is going to cost you $1,000 or something. Oh, but I've got no money to pay for it. Or why not?
Yep.
Because you haven't been charging.
Yeah. So, it does take until somebody points that out to you before you start to change your mind and go, actually, I need to charge more to make it worthwhile.
You do have to. We all do. I'm still in that boat. If you saw some of my lawns, like some of the ones I was mowing today, I'm thinking, man, that's underpriced, but it's still working for me. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. Please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.